The December update is here for the Google Pixel 8 Pro, and I, like everybody else who watched the presentation when this phone was first announced, had December circled on our calendar because that's when the company said it was going to release the feature drop, the big feature drop, that was going to give us some tasty utility to our Pixel 8. So it was going to add a bunch of different things, mostly AI. And now you've seen it with the S24 Ultra, Samsung really touting AI with the early advertising stuff there. It's really going to become a way for companies to differentiate products and to justify higher prices year over year. Because cameras are kind of played out. Only so many megapixels, only so much zoom. You're seeing them walk back some of the zoom stuff on the S24 Ultra. They needed something else to justify why you'd have to sit there and not buy a $500 or $600 device, as excellent as those have become. So they're going to start adding stuff like AI, and I really hope it doesn't devolve into what Web3, blockchain, even back in the day, Enron, when you wanted to up your stock price, you'd say, oh, we're adding internet. We're an internet company now. Enron, Jeff Skilling coming out and saying they were going to trade bandwidth like they do natural gas. You're sitting there like, well, you're going to what? You guys, excuse me? You're going to do what now? Or those companies a few years ago, like games and stuff, you want to add, oh, blockchain, we're on the blockchain. What does that mean? Well, we don't know. We're on the blockchain. You're going to start seeing a bunch of different products throughout tech that start adding. Pretty soon your air fryer is going to have AI on it. 360 points of data to make sure that your bacon is crispy. So watch out for a lot of that stuff. I'm actually writing an article now for Android Police about how AI has to kind of focus. It can't just be this big amorphous thing. And I think that's what Google is trying to do with a lot of the stuff that they released in the feature drop for December. Link to this phone, by the way, in the description. If you still want to pick up one for the holidays, does help the channel. $7.99. Link in the description. Plus, you can add a trade-in to that. I think, personally, we're going to talk about it. Really, really excellent device for the money. So let's talk about it. Video Boost, I do not yet have. I'm looking forward to it. I'm sure it'll be really cool. But I should be able to go right into here in video, swipe up, and be able to turn Video Boost on. But I don't have that just yet. Night sight video, all that stuff is really cool. I like the computational stuff. The stuff that was already there, like Best Take, I don't know how I feel about that, being able to change people's faces on a photo and stuff. I don't know when we kind of cross the edge there and jump the shark. I don't really know where that line is, but it's there. It's cool. I'm guessing Video Boost is a slow release because they don't want to overwhelm the servers right away. That's something that really I don't think was a case with Photo Editor, but they want to sit there, or Magic Editor, so they want to sit there and do the slow roll up. That's fine. You get to enjoy some of the night stuff, night sight stuff. The one thing that you can do, you go in, you take a dark photo, you could go in and actually get the white balance AI stuff right now, which is good. If you have a photo with a lot of bad shadows, blown out, AI will go through and kind of scrub that photo and make it a little bit more acceptable. So I like that. A lot of the things that were updated are stuff across the ecosystem that I was excited about. I love the fact that the Pixel watches got the ability to do call screening. Really good. Because you sit there, instead of picking up your phone when you know it's a spam call, or you have a in-between call, you don't know whether it's spam or something you got to talk to or sit through, whatever, you could go ahead and do that on your watch. I think that's really great when Google's trying to expand the ecosystem and really add value across the board. That's a little thing. It's an AI thing, but it's a little thing that's going to add value and kind of hone in AI and make it less of this amorphous thing and make it to where people could actually, it's human scale, where people could actually use it and feel like they're getting the benefits from it. So I like that quite a bit. You can do that right on your wrist. I like even for document scanning, they have that thing called Clean, where you can basically, if there's a smudge on your document or a marking that you don't want, AI will go through and scrub that clean so you don't have an issue there. And you've got summarize and increase summarize, so you can sit there, listen to an entire lecture, have it broken down, the summary there. You could, whatever, I don't know, you want to sit in a meeting, you don't want to pay attention, you go ahead and hit record, and then you could go through. You got an interview, you could get kind of the salient points of the interview without really having to go through all in those hour, half hour worth of notes. I also like the contextual responses. They're better, they're honed to you, they're kind of taking your tone of voice and using it for that. You want to say that gets the creepy side? Yeah, maybe. But that's kind of where we're going. That's kind of what people want. Then simple stuff like you could use this now as a webcam. That was an older feature. Basically, you have to have a tensor pixel, and you'll be able to do that. So there are a bunch of things. It's not as earth-shattering as I originally thought it was going to be. When you had that December feature drop listed, a bunch of people kept talking about it. You felt like you were going to get a new phone. As always, the most important bit is, how is it performing? How is battery life? Update's been silky smooth, no issues. I've had zero problems with this phone, and we'll talk about that in a moment. Battery life has been absolutely stellar for the few days that I've been running the December update. Really great battery life from the Pixel. So if you're looking to pick one of these up, you definitely should. Now here's the downside. We talked the other day about how Apple really had the advantage in doing front-end user stuff well. Like, that's how they've built out their success. It wasn't the high-end stuff that they could do, even though they could do a lot of it with photo and video and all the rest of it. It's what they did in the user experience, the front end, right in front of your face type stuff, 100% of the time type stuff. And Google really took that to heart and said, you know what? We're going to build out the ecosystem, make it easy to use, get people in with the buds and the watches and all the rest of it, but we're going to do the front end stuff well. They've branded their display. Now we have Super Actua. So you're going to wash away that bad taste in your mouth that you always had from Pixel displays. Dull, dim, whatever it is, certainly not the case here. Vibrant, bright, excellent. Now it's got a name. Fingerprint sensor, Wi-Fi problems, Bluetooth problems, overheating, all seemingly gone on the new updates and the new Pixel 8 Pro. So if those are things that have kept you away from Pixels in the past, now they're really not there anymore. Which is important because those are things you know when you pick up the phone, when you use the phone, when you unlock a phone. Those are things that matter. When you saw those consumer satisfaction surveys about a year or so ago that always had the Google Pixels last or towards the bottom, or people were always thinking about dumping their Pixel, that's why. It wasn't that they couldn't do things well. It wasn't that the camera wasn't excellent. It wasn't that they weren't good performers. It was that the stuff that just people who aren't enthusiasts used were annoying. And they've alleviated a lot of that. Now, here's the bad thing they picked up from Apple, though. Unfortunately, much like Apple, Google is now in the habit of nerfing devices artificially in order to justify a higher price. There is no reason why some of these features that were released for the Pixel 8 Pro should not be on the Pixel 8. Last time I checked, the Pixel 8 had a Tensor 3. Last time I checked, the Pixel 8 had a modem, Wi-Fi connection. And when you're talking a lot of this AI stuff, it's handled server side at Google. So there is absolutely zero reason why the Pixel 8 should not be getting every single feature of the Pixel 8 Pro, aside from Google saying, you know what, 120 hertz, the 5x optical, and whatever else we add to this, the bigger display, is not enough anymore to justify that $200-300 price difference. We need to add something else that we could sit there and point to and say, you know what, this is why you pay more. This is why you buy a Pixel 8 Pro, because it can do X, Y, Z. But when it's pretty blatant, like Apple does, when it's pretty transparent, when you could sit there and say, wait a minute, there is nothing technically that the Pixel 8 Pro has that would prohibit the Pixel 8 from doing a lot of these things. That's where you start to run into problems. And that's where they learned a little too well about Apple and how to build out their ecosystem and how to build out their experience. So hopefully Google can correct that. Hopefully it comes to Pixel 8 products later on, because I'd like to see a lot of those features out and about on Pixel 8s, because they're really great devices. And if you want to sit there and talk about benchmarks and talk about Tensor 3, you could do it all day. Go have that. Go on Reddit. Go crazy, man. Go on Reddit. Have those conversations. That's great. I hope you have a lot of fun. The rest of us who are fans of this device are going to enjoy one of the smoothest experiences on Android this year. A well-built phone, and a phone with a fantastic display with killer battery life. And if you don't want any part of that for $799, then personally, I don't know what you're doing. If you've made it this far, like, comment, subscribe, all that fun stuff. Until next time, have that delicious.